Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. A guy, 31/M, I, 29/F, went on 3 dates with a year ago, left a gift and a letter on my doorstep. Is this romantic or a red flag? I, 29/F met, 31/M the guy in question on Tinder around this time last year. We had a lot of chemistry and common interests, so we'd end up talking for a few hours each date. Honestly, those few dates have been some of the best I've been on in the past year. On the 3rd, he spent the night at my place, and we made plans to go to an event at a museum the following weekend. The following weekend arrives, and I hadn't heard from him. Eventually, I send a WhatsApp, "Do we still have plans?" text. A few hours later, he responds saying that he'd run into his ex at a concert and that he'd lied to me about something in order to keep her from finding out we'd been talking. I never responded to the text, just deleted his number and moved on. We haven't spoken since. Anyway, yesterday I found a gift and a long letter on my doorstep. The letter is partly an explanation and an apology for how things ended last year. He wrote that this was his first serious girlfriend, so he believed he was doing the right thing by giving it every last effort. It goes on to say that he's been thinking about me almost every day, wants to tell me anytime something good happens to him, craves my opinions about things, and how he has never had so much in common with someone or able to connect so easily. It's a pretty thoughtful letter that references things about the dates we'd been on and I told him about myself. The gift was a personalized shirt and a few other thoughtful small things. He left his number for me to call if I was willing to talk. He's obviously putting in a lot of effort to have a chance to talk, but I'm wondering if some things in this letter might be a red flag. I really liked and was interested in him, but we'd only gone on 3 dates. In my experience, I've found people who are intense very quickly also tend to pretty abruptly lose those feelings later. That's also essentially what happened the last time we dated, from making plans and getting to know one another to just not hearing anything from him for a few days, so that makes me feel wary too. I'm also cautious because he lied to me before and lied to his ex too to keep her from knowing we were talking, and that gives me a lot of pause and makes me wonder whether this could all be manipulative. I'm hoping an outside perspective will be helpful here. On the one hand, the few dates we went on were great, and I believe people can change and mature with experience. On the other, the way things ended between us last year was pretty shitty, and I don't know if the intensity of this letter might be a red flag. I appreciate your thoughts, and I can provide more info if necessary. Too long didn't read, guy, 31/M I dated, 29/F a year ago has come back into the picture after things ended badly between us. He left a gift and a letter on my doorstep yesterday. Is this all a giant red flag or should I be willing to give it another chance? Because he doesn't have a lot of relationship experience, I think he's overestimating and overvaluing the connection that he made with you over those 3 dates. He's probably projected what a relationship with you would be like and filled in a lot of the unknowns with his fantasy/imagination. Now, having said all of that, that doesn't necessarily mean that a relationship with him wouldn't work. You could proceed cautiously if you're interested. Other folks have it covered in terms of red flags. I just wanted to comment on the great first dates thing. While that's a great thing, and a great feeling when it happens, but it's not nearly as significant as it feels in terms of relationship potential. Think about it like getting in a new car and how the seat feels. If it feels great, that's a good thing, but it says nothing about the reliability or performance or value of the car, and that perfect feeling seat can turn out to have horrible lumbar support, and one that feels a bit more awkward at first might end up being a much better fit and support your back much better over the medium to long term. I think you have gauged the situation perfectly in your 4th paragraph. He sounds like an intense and probably flighty person. He's probably just broke up with the ex again and reminiscing on your past dates. Frankly, think that's super rude when people reach out again after their preferred option didn't work out, no one wants to be second choice. I don't think he's dangerous or anything, but I'd be super wary of him after he dropped you like a hot potato. I'd respond to him that you're not interested and make that boundary firm. Good luck. Ted Mosby's on the rebound and still making impulsive emotional decisions. I think the comments here are, as usual, a bit much. Do you feel a comparable intensity/passion for this guy in the way he describes? Do you want to see him? 3 dates isn't objectively a lot, but if you have 3 separate instances of spending hours on end having meaningful conversation, then you may have had the equivalent of what 10 dates would have been with someone else. I think it's entirely possible that he's rebounding, and in some way, yes, you might be second choice. But that's due to shitty timing, not him not liking you as much. It's kind of nice that he tried to make things work with his ex, even if that burned you. The one thing I'll say is this: it sucks that he lied. It sounds like he immediately told you the truth though, right? I can definitely see myself lying to an ex and not telling them on a date immediately after a breakup because, well, why would they need to know? I'm sure I'll get downvoted here, but I don't see a reason for you not to talk to this guy if, and only if, you want to. If you legitimately have the heebs from the interaction and don't want to, then great. If you feel like maybe you're overanalyzing and a hangout could be fun, also great. Don't dive back in head first, take things slow. If you decide to say yes, I'd keep it low key because he is clearly intense. Good luck. It's my 18th birthday and nobody remembered it. I, 18F, have friends who I thought I was really close with, including my best friend since 2nd grade, but everyone has apparently forgotten my birthday. Even my dad and my sister, 22F, didn't remember. Literally the only person that said anything was my mom, who lives in a different state, and she just sent me $50 as a present. To be honest, I feel really sad right now and I'm questioning everything. I've always been the one to organize surprise parties or go all out for my friends' birthdays, and having nobody reciprocate, or even just send me a happy birthday text, makes me incredibly disappointed. Even when I wasn't the one at the helm, other people in my friend group have always led birthday efforts. I'm turning 18. This is one of the big ones, one of the days that's supposed to be all about you. I feel really alone and like nobody cares, but I also feel selfish and entitled for making such a big deal out of people forgetting, because I know that they probably didn't do this on purpose and there's so many bigger problems in the world right now. Basically, I just feel both like a terrible person and terrible in general. Should I confront people about this, and what would I say? I think it's a little awkward for me to just say that I'm disappointed in people for not saying anything, or maybe that's just my fear of confrontation, but at the same time, if I do nothing, I'm just going to feel even worse the next time someone else's birthday comes around and I'm expected to celebrate or organize something for the birthday person. Too long didn't read. Nobody remembered that my 18th birthday is today, and I feel sad both because of the situation and because I feel sad that I'm sad. I'm not sure if I should talk to people about it or not. Nobody did anything for my 21st birthday. The one friend I had planned to do something with ditched me on the day. I was really low and couldn't stop comparing myself to other people on social media who were going on holiday or getting a new car as a birthday gift for their 21st. I don't think my 18th was much celebrated either. It hurts, but I realized that I had to push to make my own plans for it. Sadly, no one was ever going to give me a surprise party, but I've planned a small all-girls birthday dinner, going to the movies, picnic in the park with friends, that I made a few years later and were much better than friends I had at age 18. My family still don't acknowledge my birthday, but I make sure to treat myself on the day and not get pulled down by their failures. I'm 29 now. I've never had big birthday celebrations, but next year I'm hoping to go to Paris for my 30th. I don't really have any advice to offer, but happy birthday! Exclamation mark. I feel you, my mom, friends, basically everyone forgot my birthday. The only person who remembered was one friend and my dad. I felt like crap that day and cried in my room, but I was thankful that at least 2 people remembered. Even my teacher remembered, but no word from my mom, which was the one that hit me hard. It was the day after track practice and my mom picked me up by herself. I was waiting patiently that maybe the reason why she didn't say anything is because she had a surprise, but I was just flattering myself. Turns out she didn't give a crap. Happy 18th birthday, fellow stranger. My 27F trainer at the gym, 30. Won't stop bringing up Rick and Morty and I can't handle it anymore. This is going to sound like a troll, but please bear with me. I have autism and can come across as pretty socially awkward. I got a trainer about a year ago. He's a very social guy. I've noticed that he kind of caters his conversations to whoever he's talking to. Like, with old men he'll talk about golf, with parents he'll talk about kids, etc., but he still covers a wide variety of topics with other people. When I was getting to know him, he asked me what kind of shows I liked. I didn't even mention Rick and Morty, but he asked if I liked it and I said sure. Well, since then he only brings up Rick and Morty with me. I've tried to divert the conversation to other topics, but he always nudges the convo back to Rick and Morty. For example, if I try talking about dogs, he brings up the dog episode of Rick and Morty. If I bring up a new restaurant, he talks about Pickle Rick. Then when there's a lull in conversation, he'll say, "Remember X episode? It's the best." That type of thing. We have had dozens of conversations about it. I cannot handle it anymore. I don't even like Rick and Morty all that much, and I have said repeatedly that I haven't even watched this past season, but the Rick and Morty talk persists. And now that Rick and Morty has won an Emmy, I know he's just going to bring it up all week. The guy doesn't seem like a huge fan of the show or anything, but he's totally associated me with R&M, so it's all he brings up around me. What can I say to get him to stop talking about Rick and Morty? Edit, I am like 70% sure that this is because he knows I'm autistic. The first couple of sessions he talked to me like I was normal, then he overheard I had autism and it has gone fully over to Rick and Morty. Too long didn't read. My trainer thinks I love Rick and Morty and seems to associate it with me. My efforts to diverge the conversation to other topics are pretty unsuccessful. What can I do? Talk about other TV shows. Next time he brings it up, say, "Actually, I'm pretty tired of talking about X, but I've been watching Y." The guy is probably just worried about dead air. I'm atypical and female. Honestly, I would just be blunt. I really enjoy your training methods and wish to continue working with you. It's just the conversation seems to dwell on Rick and Morty and I have grown tired of it. Look, you are paying the dude for his time and as such it should be a pleasant experience for you. If he is a good trainer, you don't want to lose him. But to me, beating around the bush or making something up would be rather difficult. In my head I think, oh, just tell him your ex and you used to watch it, so it brings up bad memories. But a part of Asperger's is that it makes lying incredibly difficult. The feeling of guilt would drive a bigger wedge than listening to Rick and Morty stories. If all else fails, just pretend Rick and Morty are his friends that he talks about with you. Well, plus I've been married for longer than R+M has been on air and he knows my husband, lol. I'll try and work up the courage to say something like that. I feel like I've been reduced to an embarrassing stereotype. Yikes. I've been in this position before and it is totally annoying. I think there are gentle ways of signaling you don't want to talk about the show by redirecting the conversation. You will need to be prepared with topics you want to talk about and lead the conversation. I like to lead a conversation by acknowledging their last statement, then asking questions to redirect the conversation. When your trainer says something like, "Wow, did you see that Rick and Morty got an Emmy? It was totally deserved, don't you think?" You can say something like, "Yeah, I heard about that. I was excited when show you really like got an Emmy. Have you seen it?" If your trainer comes back to Rick and Morty, say something like, "Wow, I'm definitely not as big a fan of Rick and Morty as you are. What other shows are you watching?" Keeping the topics on TV shows might bring you back to R&M, so you can pivot to a whole new topic. Yeah. That sounds like a great episode. Anyway, why did you want to become a personal trainer? And continue to ask follow-up questions. If for whatever reason he brings it back to R&M, you can comment, you love Rick and Morty as much as I love dogs. I love going to your favorite park with my dog. Have you been there? What's your favorite park in the city? You can also be direct. It feels awkward, but sometimes it's the easiest. Acknowledge plus say you're done with R&M plus question to redirect. Dog episode of R&M sounds really funny. Can we talk about something else for today? I've been looking for new recipes to cook at home. What are you making that you really love right now? Try to have a few things that are light you want to talk about and you would be interested in your trainer's opinion. Food and restaurants are great, movies, your trainer's fitness goals and journey to being a trainer, music, fun upcoming plans. Nothing super personal. Honestly, conversations like this take practice, but they do get easier. Good luck. I'd say something like, I love Rick and Morty but I'm actually super burned out on it right now. Do you mind if we talk about something else? Are there any other shows you like? Like another commenter said, he's probably worried about dead air. Give him license to suggest another topic, any topic, rather than just what he thinks you like. Once he brings it up again you could say, you know what, I kinda stopped enjoying Rick and Morty. No particular reason, I just kinda drop shows like that sometimes. Has that happened to you with any shows? That last part of you asking him a question can steer the conversation somewhere else, at least to a different show. I can be pretty awkward around people sometimes. The way I've tried to deal with it is before I get a haircut, for example, I'll think up some topics or non-controversial current events to talk about. That way if there's a lull in the conversation I can think of something to throw out there. Haha. Good luck.